Hey, come catch this wave with the Fixx squad. The Fixx is in. I'm Mr. Soul, I'm tuning in. What you doing?
Stand up. James left, but the king still reigns here. No tears, no love lost, no rain here. Delivers, I promise, Santa rain here. Love for the city still resides here. Fix for your ailment, faith that resides outside the lines. Detox your mind, cause it matters. Art outside the box, we pace better. The Fixx is in, and we rock a channel. We rock with them for what's deep within. Expose those who talk but don't live. Expose those who talk but don't live. Take offense. Judge by the fruit from the tree, but is the fruit.
Welcome back. You tune back into the Fixx, your source for faith-infused hip-hop, R&B, and poetry, right here on Siriusxm, channel 154, Holy Culture Radio. And y'all know what time it is. We like to make sure we keep y'all up to date with all the popping artists, and it's always a pleasure. Anytime I can sit down with my brother, I tell him all the time, man, he's a large reason why the Fixx radio show even exists. Let's be very clear. When I was changing my life, artists like Lecrae and himself really helped shape and mold me, and really it was authentic. I saw something in them, not only in their lyrics and their bars, but some authentic that I could relate to. So I'm so grateful. He back to making new music, and we got a lot to catch up on in a little bit of time. So without further ado, let me welcome me and my brother, Mr. God Over Money himself, Bizzle. What's going on, brother?
Man, I'm good, man. How you been?
Man, I've been good. We've been grinding. We always busy. I know you busy. I'm busy.
Right.
I tell people all the time, be careful what you pray for.
Indeed.
Listen, before we talk about all this dope music, man, I always like to talk with my brothers, man, who gonna keep it a buck. We at the back end of this pandemic. We know the pandemic is pretty much over with, but one thing I saw during the pandemic, that a lot of kingdom marriages crumbled. You've been always very vocal. You always share your relationship with you and your wife. Why do you think so many kingdom relationships crumbled and so many divorces during the pandemic? Why do you think that happened?
One, I feel like the enemy's just turned up on marriage, you know what I'm saying, in general. But I think that different things have had to be dealt with. There's things maybe that had to be faced. It didn't have to be when you weren't in a person's face and space 24 hours, you know what I'm saying? And then a lot of people, man, including myself, dealt with depression, anxiety, different things that come from being isolated, from not getting out in the sun, from, not dealing with anybody but that same group of people forever. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of things that we didn't know contributed to our mental health and well-being that were kind of taken away during that time. And then on top of that, there was a narrative of the world crumbling. The world's like, you got the racism, you got the pandemic, you got like the world's falling apart. Like there's so much going on that, I think it could potentially have different effects on different people, whether it's, whether you're just more irritable because of it, or because maybe that stress or that weight or that pressure forces you to reach for ways of escape, or that might not be healthy, or might not even be conducive to your marriage, whether it's pornography, whether it's talking to women, whether it's whatever the case may be, to escape your present reality that seems so dark and so dim. And so, I can't speak for everybody, but I definitely know I've watched some some marriages crumble. Unfortunately, the devil's definitely tried to do his thing in ours, and we just honestly, we just continue to lean on the Lord, man, and it's till death do us. You know what I'm saying? And there's so many principles, biblical principles, that you have to put to work that maybe you didn't always have to put to work. You know what I'm saying? And it really forced that. And so another thing too is we're in a and this, it sucks because this shouldn't be it in how it is in the church, but in the world there's a lot of focus. Everybody's being refocused on self, and there's this big thing on anything that doesn't suit you, your needs, get rid of it, cut it off. The energy ain't, if it ain't all about you, if it don't, then cut it off, get rid of it. And so who knows? Some people might have been on that type of vibe. You feel me? Like,
No, now that's real. And so you brought up a lot. Do you think we've given up on the covenant, the principle of the covenant, and what the covenant represents within the marriage?
um, I don't think so. It's just, see, it's hard because just from, the marriages I know of, there have been different things. You feel me? And so that even though it's all based around this pandemic and there's a certain type of thing that it seems to have brought, I think it exposed different things in different people. You know what I'm saying? It might have exposed things that you can't even, that a person realized that they can't deal with. I can't deal with the way this is affecting you. You know what I'm saying? And
Hmm.
and so, even if you're depressed, I'm not really good with this depressed version of you. You feel me? Like, whatever the case may be. And so I think it depends on the individuals on whether or not they've let go of that. You know what I'm saying? Of what marriage is supposed to be. But man, it's definitely the enemy's definitely attacking marriages, right? And when you look at the other side of it, you're looking at the traditional family being broken up image wise, right? Because now you can be a man and man, woman and woman. There is no traditional family. The woman's not the woman now. She's a birthing person. And so all of this is being broken. And so now what do you have but the marriage that God instituted? This a continued reminder of what it was supposed to be. So naturally the enemy's gonna try to break that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's real. That's real. Appreciate you sharing that. Listen, this Mental Health Awareness Month, and you brought up, just, depression is real, and we all kind of, need some type of therapy to a certain extent. Do you go for counseling or therapy or spiritual like therapy? Like, speak to that and the importance of keeping your mental health intact.
Yeah, I'm definitely I definitely do therapy now. I see a therapist and just researching things, and with that you have to be, if you're going to do a bunch of research and all that, you kind of have to be a emotionally aware person and knowledgeable, because some people get at anything and just apply it to them. You know what I'm saying? Just but um you know, there are so many things that affect us, and it's not just the pandemic and all that, but from childhood that you don't even know, things that you just attribute to your personality. This is how I am, right? Um,
Mhm.
and so until you do some research and you hear somebody talking about something, it could be whether it's ADHD, whether it's depression, whether and something clicks like, yo, that's what I've been feeling. Yo, this is describing me. You know what I'm saying? And it's all right to get some help with processing these things from somebody who did the research you're doing a long time ago and has helped other people, you know what I'm saying, that are in your position. You definitely want to beware and be careful not to let the natural trump the supernatural, right? And so you want to do whatever things in the natural you can to help, but at the end of the day, things are in God's hands, and you don't want to start having a natural answer for everything that supersedes the spiritual answer for it. And so, it's something to be wise in for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. Listen, do you think, we understand that this pandemic taught us that for a lot of the ministries, a lot of the church, we had to embrace and understand technology to a whole nother level. A lot of people were not prepared when the pandemic happened. But, coming out the back end of it, do you think that the church has become more entertainment driven now compared to teaching the Bible?
I don't think so. I feel like when you say that, you're probably talking about a Mike Todd or somebody like that, like specifically. But the church as a whole, nah, I don't think it's become any more entertainment driven at all. I believe that voices have been given, and not, not Mike Todd, but just like on the from an influencer level. voices have been given to people who are able to thrive in that space, who didn't really might not have had a voice prior. You know what I'm saying? And so it can seem like an entertainment value, and sometimes it can. That the problem with getting a platform, right, is you have to be careful that you don't fall into doing whatever people like. You know what I'm saying? Like, even in music, I've had to make sure that, like, yeah, it's a business, but this ain't we see the analytics and they like when I say stuff like this, so I'm gonna keep saying stuff because that's where God stops leading, right? And so if I do this, if I say this type of thing, if I make this type of video, if I entertain in this type of way, it gets the numbers. And just like in the world, we say all money ain't good money, all numbers ain't good numbers. You feel me? And so, I think wisdom is still having to be used in deciding who you're going to listen to. But at the same time, the Bible says that people will be drawn to those who will tickle their ears. You know what I'm saying? They got itching ears. They want to hear what they want to hear. So when we're drawn towards entertainment and where the word is lacking and entertainment is prevalent, then that says something about us as well. You know what I'm saying? And so at the end of the day, I think it's just in the church. I don't see much of a difference, even though we've become a little more tech savvy because we've had to. Mm-hmm. But I don't think it's much different.
Listen, you said some stuff, and I appreciate you sharing that. I do think it's an individual journey with your relationship where you are, because we get a lot of flack too as well. A lot of people want us to put out shock content, and we like, no, that's not what we're for. When you come to the Fixx, we're not for shock content. We're trying to point people back to Jesus. We want to give you substance and knowledge. So that way you continue to grow your relationship with God. I ain't into that shucking and jiving.
Bruh.
Listen, that ain't me. So you ain't gonna get me dancing all in the videos. No, you're not gonna get it.
Listen,
no, I'm not that guy.
They be trying to they want me dissing somebody every song, bro. Like, I had to learn early on, right? When I was new, everybody tried to put a battery in my back, right? I had people offer deals that wanted me to keep dissing people. I had people offer deals that wanted me to stop dissing people. Like, and I'm not really trying to be controlled by nobody but God. Like, you know what I'm saying? I'm trying to follow his lead. And so I think that is the thing for every individual, but especially when you have a platform, because who gave you the platform? Who do you say that platform belongs to? So how do the people outside the platform get to control where you go with it? You know what I'm saying? I'm glad, like you said, you don't really be with that, because that's the same thing I'll be on. I got a record. It's not out yet. It's going to be on the next project called Nobody's Mascot. And it's like, bruh, I'm not nobody's mascot. I'm not the Christian mascot. I'm not the black mascot. None of y'all run me, bro. Your opinions don't run me. The word of God, I submit to him. You know what I'm saying? And I fall where I fall, and you gonna feel how you feel. But I'm not tap dancing for nobody.
Listen, that's solid. Listen, DJ Focus, you tuned into the Fixx. Listen, we got to go to a quick break. We're coming right back with more from Bizzle. Don't touch that dial. Keep it locked. You tuned into the Fixx. You know the Fixx is in.
Holy Culture Radio. We're not just background noise. We play the music that inspires you, because every song has a story. Christian hip-hop and R&B music and talk on Siriusxm channel 154, 24 hours a day. Holy Culture Radio is changing the game. Discussions about faith, arts, vocation, and education. We talk about the real issues that affect our communities and work together to find solutions. Join the discussion at holyculture.net and be heard.
Welcome back. DJ Focus, Dice Gamble. You tap back into the Fixx right here on Siriusxm channel 154, Holy Culture Radio. We still got God Over Money representative, the man himself, Bizzle, on the line with us. So Bizzle, let's talk about it, man. We can talk this hip hop conversation. Hip hop turns 50 years old this year, as we acknowledge that hip hop has been in the game 50 plus years. You have not only had a stamp on hip hop, I would argue that a lot of your records have helped some of the mainstream artists even recognize just Christian hip hop and just gospel rap, whatever you want to call it. What's your take on the state of hip hop total? Like 50 years of hip hop, where do you see it? This is a culture you love, you grew up in. where do you see us at 50 years?
Where do I see us at in the next 50 years? Or
Yeah.
how do I feel
No,
about
no,
it now?
no. How you feel about it now? Forgive me. How do you feel about it now? The state of hip hop right now, 50 years old.
Man, I fell out of love with hip hop. I ain't gonna lie. I'm I feel like it's super controlled. It's controlled by people who wanted to do what it's gonna do, right? And so we live in a world of influencers, right? What's an influencer? Their whole job is to influence you. And so if I want to sell you some sunglasses, I'm going to reach out to an influencer, and then they're going to put the sunglasses on and talk to you about them, and then they're going to influence you to buy my sunglasses, right? That's how product placement works. That's how, okay, we want people to buy Hyundais. Let's put LeBron James in a Hyundai, right? He doesn't necessarily drive one, but or own one, but his job is to influence you. And so hip hop is a bunch of influencers, right? And so there's somebody who chooses the influencer, and they chooses what they're going to influence you with. When you listen to hip hop is a lot of death, hypersexuality. It's just, drugs, all of this stuff. It's a lifestyle being promoted that will lead you to hell. Overall, you have your individuals who are not all on that, but as a whole, it's mad reckless. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like the genre of hip hop specifically is like, and it's been a study's been done where it's number one for murder content, number one for misogyny, it's number one for drug content, it's number one on radio. You feel me? And so I believe that that's intentional. And so whether you want to blame the artist or you want to blame the people who are signing the artists, these people are being paid to influence you this way. And there's some artists who, when they decide they don't want to influence you this way, they get dropped from their label, or you stop hearing from them. Or there are people who don't get deals because they won't, you know what I'm saying, influence you
Right.
to kill your own and all this stuff. And so right now, I mean, it is a business. I feel like hip hop's bought and paid for, and you know, the influence is terrible. And so, me and a lot of Christian rappers and even some secular rappers are trying to do what we can to combat that. You feel me? Because it's a tool, and the tool is powerful. And so, and that's the thing. Somebody, the people at the top, they realized how powerful it was, how influential it was, and instead of trying to kill it like they was in the beginning, they decided they was gonna control it. And so right now, I'd be like, yo, I love hip hop and all this, but it's not what I grew up on. Two, even what I grew up on, once I got wiser, that wasn't lit like that. You know what I'm saying? And so I think it's an amazing tool to reach people, and we fighting a good fight to make a difference in it and kind of change the trajectory, if we can.
No, you are. You definitely do it. That's one thing you've always been vocal about, the manipulation of music and how it has manipulated us. So I appreciate you doing that, because there were not enough artists speaking up to the level that you speak up, and being honest about it, on how it affects our spirit, how it affects our day-to-day living. Now stop it. You putting this music in, you constantly doing these things, whether you receive it or not. So don't act dumb.
Facts.
Listen, have you been able to, and I know you have, but if you want to talk a little bit about just building the relationships with some of the mainstream artists. Like, I know it has to be like some mainstream artists that reach out to you like, man, your music is dope, man, your music's got me through a trying time. Have you been able to build some relationships to where you can like minister to them, maybe disciple them to a certain extent, to where you can get them to see that their lyrics and their content that they put out is important on what they say?
I wouldn't go to the length of discipling, but I've been able to have a couple, lightweight conversations or whatnot.
Okay.
But if I'm honest, I'm not an easy person to build with, because I'm an introvert. You feel me? Like, and so I kind of stay in my to people I can trust, especially that's what I've been taught by being on this platform. But I've had some good conversations, and I'm gonna always, stand my ground on what I believe in, and try to get people to see what can be seen. You know what I'm saying? Even though the Lord is responsible for, revealing things to them. And so, and some people know, they just gotta, a lot of people still got a hold on them, and that's it, right? And so usually the longer you are in something, the deeper you go, the harder it is to let go of it. You feel me? Like when I got saved, I had been working on a secular album, for about 3 years, shot a video, got everything, we was getting ready, and then I got saved. It was hard for me to let go of the dreams I had when I felt like I was that close. It was hard to scrap something that I put so much time, work, and effort into. You feel me? And so when someone and I didn't even have money like that. So when you add someone who's spent so much time building something, becoming one with the thing that they're building, their career, and then you add money on top of that, you're looking at a whole bunch of things that they kind of like the rich young ruler that they kind of got to get around. And the Bible says that's hard. And so I'm gonna always stand my ground, but I get it to a degree as well. You know what I'm saying? And that's something I don't think a lot of people, believers, do, because most of the people who expect somebody to walk away from $1 million, they never walked away from $1 million and wouldn't. You feel me?
Facts.
A
Facts.
lot of things people expect you to do, they wouldn't do, nor have they ever done, as far as sacrifices. You know what I'm saying? And so, I in those conversations, I always let the truth be known, but it's for the Lord to complete any work He begins or decides to begin.
Yeah, I agree. I used to be very critical too as well when I first changed my life. I was like one of them fire brimstones going around giving out tracks and everything. And then God, He placed it on my heart to grace. He said, I grace you to even get to this level to where you are. And now you condemning people without building relationships. So that's why I always ask that question. Because a lot of people, to your point, they're judgmental, but don't want to build a relationship, don't want to understand what that individual's going through, what they're trying to, like you say, the obstacles they have to overcome. So that's real, man. Appreciate you sharing that. Let's talk about it. Light Work 3, it's out now. It's crazy. Let's be very clear. I appreciate you putting out a project. I don't know why people don't want to put out projects no more. I know we live in this single-driven streaming situation, but you putting out a project, it meant a lot to me and a lot of the listeners. So let's talk about it. Talk about the inspiration behind it of even put this project together.
Well, I mean, so I wanted to put a project together because, man, like you said, I know a lot of people ain't really trying to put out projects, or they putting out very small projects. But everybody, you see, it's hard because business wise, now the music is still run by an algorithm, right? When you talk about Spotify and how these things work with playlists, so the algorithm, just kind of like how Instagram might, it might help you to post more often. The algorithm over at a Spotify might help you to release more often. And so I'm doing myself a disservice by not releasing music all the time in that regard. Same thing on YouTube, you feel me? And so it's like you gotta pick your poison, because I also don't want to just oversaturate people with I don't know, it's like it's never an event when anybody drops an album anymore. And I'm like, I don't want it.
Facts.
Like, when I drop an album, I want it to be like, yo, Bizzle's dropping an album. I don't want it to be like, yeah, I know he dropped one 2 weeks ago. He's dropping another one. Oh, that's cool. You feel me? Like, I would like what I do to be appreciated for the time and effort that I put into it, and not just give you something and then you on to the next one. And so this one, the inspiration though, was really like my last album, the Soul Therapy album, was a whole different vibe, right? It was me I wanted to write an album in the pit of my depression because like that's where I was. And so I knew a lot of other people were there as well. And so I wanted to write something that can kind of meet people in that space. You know what I'm saying? And so, but a lot of it was kind of, deep, very deep content, you know what I'm saying? Very somber vibe. For Light Work 3, it more so represents the coming and climbing up out of the depression. You know what I'm saying? Which
Gotcha.
is where I am now, or I was, and then my cousin passed a few weeks ago, and it was down, and it was, you know what I'm saying? But still fighting a good fight. But yeah, that's what is. So you see, it's a lot more up tempo or upbeat, friendlier, funner vibe, you know what I'm saying? That can kind of help lift people's spirits. Like, okay, you're down, you feel the feelings, you know what I'm saying? It is what it is. I relate to you on that point. Now let's get up together. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's good. Listen, my condolences to you for your loss too, as well, for your family member. Yeah, I agree. This thing is off the hook. So I just want to get a couple, break down a couple of these songs. So one, let's be very clear. There's no L's with Miles Minnick and Fat Man Scoop. Like, talk about that, bringing that collaboration together. Like, I know that had to be like a little, little epic in its own little stance.
Yeah. So No L's is actually the first record me and Miles did. And so we did that before we put out the Ghost record on his project. And so I just been, man, half the time y'all hear music, I've been sitting on it for over a year already, at least.
Wow.
Truth be told, there's a verse on that album from like 2011, 2012
Wow.
that I spit because none of y'all ever heard it. Y'all probably wouldn't even know the difference. But so me and him collabed on this joint, and Fat Man Scoop, we been in communication. And he always let me know, like, yo, man, whatever you need from me, if you want to, like, let's do something, whatever. And I kind of just been waiting on the right record, you know what I'm saying? And so when we did this one, I said, let me go ahead and send this to Scoop. This might be one of them ones, you know what I'm saying? And he got on it, did his thing in classic Fat Man Scoop form. And then we went out there to LA, shot the video. We got what's the name? Tommy the Clown and them out there. You know what I'm saying? They definitely legendary little group out there in LA. And
Right.
you know what I'm saying? We just wanted it to be the best it could be.
Listen, Fill My Cup remix with Kitty Business. Talk about the dynamics of working with your kids. Like, when they first said they wanted to really do music, what did it take you, like, you know what I'm saying, like, off guard?
Heck no.
Okay.
Brother,
Okay.
they've been able to catch the beat from months old. They've been coming up coming up with melodies, like, you know what I'm saying, rap, like the music's been in them in a very obvious way from a very young age. You know what I'm saying? And so whether or not they want to use it, that's not something I'm gonna force on them. You feel me? I'm not gonna be the dad that's gonna make you do it because daddy did it. But I'm always here to help you in any kind of way I can. And so with this record, it's always gonna be one of my favorite records just because it's me and my little boys on there. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But it was dope to actually, get a chance to do that with them and kind of let the world get a sneak preview of what's to come.
That's good. On My Own with Brian T, man. Talk about that collaboration. That was powerful.
Man, so I've been, I rock with Brian T, man. He's always been solid, and so this one, when I first heard that beat and the way it was knocking, I came up with the hook. I was kind of like, yo, who can I put on there? But then I remember, like, we did a joint on Brian Trejo's album, but it was more like a calm vibe. So I was like, man, let me get Brian Trejo, put him on this joint. You know what I'm saying? Super commercial type joint. And we actually shot that video outside of a show we both had together in Long Beach out there in LA. We like, hey, let's go over there and shoot while we both here. And it came together pretty dope.
Yeah, real dope, real dope. Very much a vibe track. Last one, man, my favorite, and I know a lot of people don't care for it, but I care for it. Bamboozle. Talk about one. Thank you for putting it on the project because I know you was kind of up in the air about that. But just talk about the importance of Bizzle being able to spit all the content in this song. It's so much in this song that if people would just grasp it and just stop being so judgmental and just really hear what you're saying and really start looking at stuff like, oh, wait a minute, some of this stuff do really actually add up.
Yeah. And I mean, people feel how they feel for different reasons. Sometimes it's because you've been so conditioned by one side or the other to reject anything that goes against your side, right? Sometimes it's because you ain't got the heart to say it, and me having the heart to say it make you look a certain way. You feel me? And so I've I've always kind of done things and it's funny because people swear that I like to be controversial, and I don't. I hate it. Like I told you, I'm an introvert. I'm mad laid back. I just do what I gotta do. You feel me? Like, and that's from the Lord. That's that boldness from the Lord. That it's not that I love confrontation, but I'm with the smoke if it gotta be for Him. You feel me? And so with this, it's just seeing so many things that are happening and seeing the way that they're getting misread and misunderstood, and how people are just being influenced, right? And just such a lack of balance. Like, if I'm on this side, then everything the other side says I have to reject, and everything my side says I have to accept. And I'm like, nah, man. Like, the way, like the lenses that we're seeing through are no longer biblical or godly, but they're political or they're biased. And so, with this record, it actually got blocked by my distributor. When I tried to put it out, I had to go out. TuneCore blocked it. I had to go and put it out through DistroKid. Um, when I initially released it, and so that's the first time that they've ever blocked one of my records from me being able to put it out. And I hit them up about it. They didn't want to give me no answers. They pretty much fell back on, that contractually they don't have to tell me why they blocked my song. You feel me? And so I still put it on the album, hoping they wouldn't block it or it wouldn't get caught up. And I blanked out some of the words, and it didn't. So praise God for that. But we got some more truth coming up on this next one. The next one, so far, it ain't as friendly.
Hey, listen, I appreciate you, man. Listen, tell the people how they can connect with you, follow you on all your streaming platforms. Listen, definitely shout out your tour dates. I know you're getting ready to go on tour, and introduce one of your bangers for us.
Yo, what up? It's your boy Bizzle. You can follow me on Instagram at Bizzle, Bizzle. You can look up Bizzle on all the other stuff, and you gonna find me. The big light skinned dude, probably got a hat on. You know what I'm saying? Shoot, right now we about to go on this light work tour. It's me, Miles Minnick, Scooty Wop, and my bro Dayton. Make sure you hit up godovermoney.com/events. We're updating it all week with new dates and stuff like that, because we're still booking them. So make sure you keep in touch with us there. And then shoot, let's see what joint I want to introduce. You know what? Nah, play Bamboozle. We about to run that Bamboozle right now, since that's the one we just finished talking to y'all about. And go in with an open mind, go in neutral, and just listen. And then before you address whether or not it hurts your feelings or upsets you, ask yourself, is it true? And then if it's true, then ask yourself why the truth upsets you. You feel me?